Today we are going to be looking at some advanced tips and tricks for the Skewb, as well as finger tricking the sledgehammer. So normally you might have set it on a table so that you can do the moves more easily, but here I'm going to show you a way to do it with one hand. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to turn it sideways, so your sledgehammer is going to be happening here, but you're going to turn it sideways. So this hand is just going to be used for stability, okay? So I would hold these two back centers. Now you're going to put these two fingers sort of resting here, and then these fingers here sort of pinching these two centers, and then this finger doesn't really do much, you can just rest it there. And now this is how you're going to do it. So you're going to move this down, okay? So see, I just move this down. Now with these fingers, push this up, okay? Now I'll bring my thumb up to bring that back, and twist one more time. So let's do that again. I bring it down, move these up, with my thumb bring this back, twist down again. A little faster. You see, it's the same exact moves, you're just doing it sideways so that you can use one hand. Just going down, down, up, up. You're also going to be looking at a new algorithm. So people call this the hedge slammer. It's sort of the opposite of the sledgehammer. So this is the equivalent to doing left first instead of right first, which there will be some special cases where this will be better because it will solve more pieces. So, I just figured this out on my own. I think you could do the same, but all I do is move that down with my thumb, and then I just pinch those two back together. So I move these out, pinch these two back together. Sort of hard to do fast, but there's only a few cases where you would need to do it. Now let's begin some tips and tricks. So first, I'll just tell you a few tips for building slide. I'll just scramble this up a bit. So, one thing to note is on the Skewb, after 3 turns, it goes back to normal. This means you should never turn something twice in a row, because it would just be more efficient to move it once in the opposite direction. So, here I see 2 that are already together, so I'm going to start with orange. So, here I have a keyhole slot, so I can easily turn this corner. And then here, I'm going to bring this back, then put it in, then bring this back. Really the key thing to see here is never turn something twice, and also use look ahead to your advantage. So see where the 4 corners are that you're going to get in, and then you should really be able to put those 4 corners in blind pretty much because you looked ahead and saw where they were. Now let's look at some easy cases for orienting the last layer. So here's one easy case where your center is already in place and then you have your headlights facing opposite. So what you're going to do is normally you would think, well, I'll do my sledgehammer here so that I can get my corners in place. But what you're going to do is going to do a Y2, and you're going to do the sledgehammer here twice. Now what this is going to do is it's going to put this yellow center in as well. So that will save you the trouble of putting it in later. Now let's look at 2 more really easy cases. So here's probably the easiest case where you have your headlights and these facing opposite, and then your center is touching this one. You'll simply just do the sledgehammer and it will put your center in as well. Now if you had the opposite like this, where your center is touching this corner but it's on the right side, you're actually going to do a different one. So you're going to do the hedge slammer, which is just the opposite, and then it's going to put it in. Here's another simple case that's important to learn. So if you have 2 to switch here, and then 2 on opposite sides to switch, you can simply just do the sledgehammer 3 times, and then we'll solve the entire cube. Now all that is left is permutation of the last centers. So you should be able to do this in one step if you learn a little bit more. So, this is your simple U-perm, where you have to switch these around. So, of course, you'll do the sledgehammer Y2, which is now like an X2, since you have already moved the cube sideways. And then you're done. Now let's look at this H-perm. So, you actually can do this H-perm in one step, and it's really easy. So, you're going to put your solved centers here, going to do the sledgehammer. Now you're going to do an X2. Now, hedge slammer, which is the opposite, another X2, then sledgehammer. Now for this last one, Z-perm, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, both on your part and my part. This is going to be sort of hard to teach, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it very slowly, and then I'm going to count on you to just watch this a few times so that you can practice it. So, as you can see, these two need to switch, and these two need to switch. So I'm going to find these opposite ones, and then I'm going to keep this axis in mind, where these two centers meet. So this is what I'm going to do. So there you go. That's the algorithm slowed down. Watch that a few times so that you can get it down to muscle memory, and then after that it's actually pretty easy. Now obviously this isn't the most efficient method for the Skewb. There are still hundreds more algorithms that I did not cover in this video, but I hope this still helped. If you'd like to see more tutorials, you can visit my page, and for the future, good luck!